So this is the moment that most people have probably been waiting for, because it's like kind of like I just disappeared out of nowhere from this church, right? This is the reason why I left Kingdom City Church. Prepare yourselves. The reason why I left Kingdom City Church is a lot of different factors. I'm gonna keep my words right and I'm gonna use my words correctly, even though I have everything documented from the very moment that I was approached until now. But I feel like I deserve to speak my truth. It's okay. It's the truth. I shouldn't be frightened or scared to speak my truth because there's fans worse than the beehive that he has. And just a lot of factors. There's some people there, allegedly. There's some crazy people that are possessive over him, right? But it's not just them being possessive. It's something that someone is doing, I have to use my words wisely, to cause these women to be very possessive, right? To the point where it drove me out. When I look at this church, right, and I look at these members, I am grateful for them. I'm grateful for the people there. I'm grateful for even down to the leader. But I can say that I had one of the worst stages of my life going to that church. It's like no one saw me. No one sees what you're going through. And you have people that coddle the dysfunction of the leadership going around. These people are knowing what's going on and they coddle his dysfunction. I'm still going through something with this person. And there's people that sit there and coddle his dysfunction. I deserve to speak my truth, and it's time. I joined the church August of 2021. I didn't get so I went to the church August 2021. Actually, the first time I ever went was like the ending of July of 2021, but I joined officially August of 2021. However, he doesn't approach me until via text message January 2023, which I have like the receipts that I could post.
Let's see what he said. MG, prayerfully, you will show or share this with no one. Okay. I was really drawn to you today for some reason. However, I will not bother you because I'm sure you are busy. More grace, your pastor. You know I got like ADHD. Let's say that first part again. Prayerfully, you will show or share this with no one. Who is she talking to? Kevin Gates? This sounded like a Kevin Gates message. And then she says, more grace, Pastor. OMG, you will never bother me. Call me. I will never show or share with anyone. You somebody, right? I'm somebody. We ain't just anybody.
The kiss emoji. Pastors.
And then, hold on, slide up. Motherfucker.
Oh, man.
Okay, hold on. This might not be as personal as we think. This could just be. I'll be hard on these pastors. They gonna start reporting my videos. What's with the kissy faces? And what did you hide? Not gonna go there. This receipt that I could post for that and everything. Okay, a lot of flirting going on. It seems like
she was with it.
Yeah, he said something was drawn. Something about her draw him. I wonder what it was. But okay, could be friendly up in this point. Let's not cast judgment too early. How did he get her? We can't. Let's hear what she got to say. It seems like it's gonna be emotional. So let's be serious for a second.
For that and everything. So I don't get approached until January 2023. After that, we are talking. We're talking, but I feel a pull to keep my options open, even though he wants me to only talk to him because of things out there, diseases, and all these things that he's saying. Mind you, he told me never to share with anyone, don't talk to about anyone, which I have a text message of his very first approach that I can attach here. I just felt just like at first it was very exciting because I'm like, oh my gosh, this amazing person, like he's like a king to all these people, like he wants me. Oh my gosh, like it can be so exciting until you realize, right, that there is probably way more people allegedly that he's communicating with and talking to in the church and be out of the church. So proceed to July 2023. Beforehand of July 2023, I get asked about or presented an opportunity for a threesome, right? So
Not with the
I don't want to
pastor.
say
Oh
the
my
girl's
goodness.
name, but the woman had already came out about him this year. That woman, he was like, she's gonna text you and all you have to do is say yes, da 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 da. Like it was like a setup, like he knew how to set this thing right and set
What is
up
she saying at the bottom?
the threesome.
Okay.
So we ended up meeting, and basically the threesome happened, right?
On the first
After
week?
that, him and I proceed to communicate, but then I send a text message like, hey, I don't know what this is, what this relationship is. I can't, like, I just don't know. I don't know what this is anymore, so I don't know what we're doing. So I ended up sending that text. He's like, I'm not going to chase you, yada, 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 whatever. Boom. I found out I'm pregnant, right?
Dang, they moving fast.
I didn't have the greatest moments in my life. And I had to let him know that he could be a potential father, potentially, like he could be one. Mind you, I had the worst stages of my life going there, so I take accountability for everything that I've done. I had a moment where I had pretty much almost like a one night stand. I had, whether it was that or whether it was with allegedly Prophet Brian Carn Jr. I
Damn,
proceed
the
to
whole
let him
name.
know that I'm pregnant. He's like, oh no, who's about? I'm like, I don't know, because he was, the guy was the other guy was like the 16th of September, and me and him had sex September 26th. So it was like 10 days away. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, like, what is going on here? Like, no matter what, who I was trying to move forward with, he always kind of came in, whatever. I let him know that I'm pregnant. He proceeds to state, well, why don't you consider, an abortion? Like, are you going to
This is the
continue to
pastor.
drink? Are you still going to smoke or whatever? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel all this pressure on me. So in my head, I'm thinking maybe I should go ahead and schedule it. Immediately was like, nah, I'm not even going to go that route or go that way. I don't even want to go that route, because I can't live with the thought of doing something like that to my child. Well, he starts checking on me, periodically during the pregnancy, and the baby's here. I do it everything alone. The entire pregnancy, I'm really more so focused on the other guy. We're going to call him John.
Call his real
So I'm
name.
not really thinking anything of Prophet Brian Carn Jr. and really approaching him about it.
So,
That is the whole name of the pastor.
but we'll protect the other guy. This is ridiculous. But listen, I'm not judging the fact that she's moving the way she's moving. Honestly, people gonna do what they're gonna do. But just know when you put this type of information on social media, it is kind of, because I mean, if I find out this man had a wife, then I'm probably gonna take a stronger stance against her. But I'm gonna let her just vent real quick, and let's just see if it's because
A threesome with a pastor. I'm still stuck on that.
I'm scared of these story times. Yeah, I feel like I'm judging people
Where
now.
they do that at?
These pastors, man. Every pastor story. Can we get a good pastor story time? One time. But it wouldn't be messy stories if they wasn't messy, huh? But dang. Threesome, first month, I guess. I don't know if she just running through the timeline real quick, but that sounds like she just met this man. Ooh, googly eyes the first day. and then now they sleeping together, and now they having threesomes together, and now she's pregnant, and now the child is here. I ain't never heard of a pastor told somebody to give an abortion. I thought pastors was extremely against abortions. I didn't know pastors was for that. But, I feel like a woman should do what she want to do with her body. It's up to you what you decide to do. I don't know if I don't think it's going to get you closer to God or away from God. Listen, it's not my job to judge you in that manner. What you do with your body is what you do with your body. But for a pastor to suggest that for you is wicked to me.
Because I'm like, it's impossible. There's no way that he could be a potential option, even though I know they were only 10 days apart. And I take a full accountability for that. I'm not ashamed of anything that I've done. I'm just not. There's nothing that anyone can pick on me about, or like, I'm very open about it. And it's like from there, after she was born, I'm doing everything on my alone, but a lot of the sisters from KCC, they were helping me a lot, which was tremendously amazing. Like, they just came in and they kind of stepped in, them not knowing that he could be a potential option. You know what I'm saying? Apparently someone did spread around that it was his child, but that was just them just spreading stuff around, probably because I was cute and whatever.
How would they know? He said, tell no one of this.
Speed forward, I finally ended up approaching him this year, right, about a DNA test. He calls me about a DNA test. He calls me a week later. Mind you, I did it through via text message. So he proceeded to call me a week later, and he's like, hey, I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to take the test. Like, I'm just letting you know that I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to take this DNA test for you. I'm like, oh, yes, finally. Finally, like, victory could finally be held just for my daughter, because none of this is about me. None of this is about them too. It's more so about my child and like her getting the justice that she needs. Also, with me having to do everything pretty much on my own without my parents, I'm so grateful that, I was able to purchase a property and everything that pretty much on my own. I'm just so thankful that God presented me the opportunity to do these things. Well, next thing you know, like, I try to look to see if, like, I don't know, something told me to go back to our text messages. I go back to our text messages, it's completely green. So either his numbers change or I'm just blocked. Whatever. I find out that I could be potentially blocked, but then he still proceeds to call me from no caller ID. And he's like, hey, I'm just checking on you. I don't want anything. He would call me from no caller ID. So my current boyfriend that I have now was like, oh no, this ain't gonna happen. So I was like, oh, well, you can answer the calls, honey. He's like, nah, you gotta change your number. You can't be just getting these calls and it's 10 o'clock at night, whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna change my number. I changed my number immediately. After that, I never got any calls or anything like that. So months go by, I'm like, dang, man, I really need justice for this child. Like, she doesn't deserve to like, not know who her father is, So for me, I'm like, I gotta do what I gotta do. I go to the child support enforcement office and I finally fill out an application and I put his information on it. And I go and fill it out for the other man, John, as well. And I put his name on the application because I said, no, I can't just go after the one guy. They were only 10 days apart. Like, I have to make sure it's even. It's not because of who he is. Like, I get it. But at the same time, my daughter needs the justice and that she deserves. Like, you have a whole live pastor that's preaching on a pulpit but dodging a DNA test behind the scenes. Mind you, I have to sit there and watch all this unfold. And I'm just so kind. But I'm like, girl, it's been 2 years now. Your daughter's 1 year old. You need to figure out this. You need justice for your daughter, and it's all about her. It's not about any of them, right? So I called the case manager about like a couple weeks ago, and she's like, hey, I just sent out the letter, like, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, like, you sent out the letter. So for me, I know that the letter potentially got sent or is getting sent, but mind you, I still don't have justice for my daughter, because I didn't have that much of a corroborable men, because of the decisions and things that I've decided to make, which I take full accountability for that. But I've gotten the help that I needed. I took the step to take therapy, and I started taking therapy over the situation, and I got completely sober.
See, that's what, and she got sober. That's exactly what I like to hear. I want to hear when I hear story times like this. I love when women take accountability for their actions and actually showing progress in the process. Like she's not just saying that. She's not putting it all on them. She knows that what she did was wrong, and that's what I like about her as a storyteller. And the fact that she actually went on her way to went out her way to get therapy and stuff like that. Even though most people wouldn't even see this as a situation you needed therapy for, but she obviously know that it's something deep rooted within her that makes her react this way. So she had to go fix that, and I can respect that 100%. That must be the baby in the background, crying, like in the background as well. So wow, you could tell probably some years has passed since this story time, this even happened. But wow.
Yeah, he's trying to dodge the DNA test, but yeah, the government is definitely going to come. They're going to come knocking at your door, and they're going to get that whether you want to give it up or not. And the fact that he's just blocked her and ignoring her, knowing that I know where you're at, you're teaching a sermon, I can serve you now or whenever. It's like, how are you preaching in front of people and acting devious behind the scene?
Right. And what most men don't realize in some states is that women can put you on child support well before you even establish rights. I think that's just a tricky way of the government getting you to come prove that you're the father. Now, they'll put you on child support until you come in and prove that you're not the father of that child. And I've seen this happen in so many situations, and men wonder, like, how can I be on child support? How can a man be on child support for 18 plus years or whatever the case, and then find out the child wasn't his? Well, because the government will put you on it. They will put you on. It's your job to go up there and give them the swabs and stuff that they want to prove that this is not your child. So in this situation, I see why she's going straight to there, because it's going to pressure him into getting that results. Either way, if not, he's not going to do it. Why would a man do it if it wasn't no pressure behind doing it? So I'm starting to understand why they do that now. At first I was like, that's crazy. But when you look at it's crazy for some men, but not all men. I can see why, in general, why they do these things, though. It makes sense. But I'm happy to see that she's like taking the initiative and taking responsibility for these actions she's made, and also trying to get a father to be. Honestly, if I'm the friend, the dude, right, in this situation, I like personally, I would have just stepped up for her. Tell her, like, man, listen, I know you want to know who the real father is, but if this is the real father, this man right here who don't even want nothing to do with this child, then maybe you don't want to bring this man around this child, because you don't know how it'll cause trauma in this child's life. Yes, it is good. I think it's more important to have a man figure, a good man role model in this child's life than to have his actual. And this is crazy, I know, because I got kids. But if I'm a bad person, it's probably better to have somebody else who's a good man to be in her life, And even if she got to believe this is her father until she gets old enough for you to sit down and have a mature conversation with her and say, hey, listen, I only told you this because I didn't want your childhood to be ruined. I would respect that. Growing up with no mom and no father, I would have respected that, hearing that, like I would respect my mother. Like, oh, thank you so much. I can be irritated because I'm over here been dealing with this man, but at the same time, I will eventually, what I'm saying, messy family, you will forgive this person, So if this doesn't work out, that don't mean your child's life is over. That man that's sitting beside you who don't want him texting you randomly need to step up.
I am going on about to be 6 months of being sober from alcohol, from smoking vape, smoking weed. Like, I'm completely sober, and I thank God for just changing my life around. If it wasn't for my current boyfriend that is such an advocate for me and my child, I wouldn't have been able to take those steps. But you do have to change your environment in order to be like in that state of being like completely sober. So all this is going on, mind you. Earlier this year, I had taken the girl Vashti. I took in Vashti. I could speak about her because she's like the only one that ever came out about him. Probably the first one that ever came out openly about Prophet Brian Carn Jr., right? Shout out to Vashti. She's such a beautiful spirit, man. She's just so beautiful. I took her in and I had to see her crying on my couch, crying about certain allegedly things that went on that she had to find out about. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, I was like, remember when we all had our thing, our situation back in 2023? Well, I was like, I can't prove to you the things that you're finding, but I can affirm you that me and him did talk back in 2023. She was like, oh my gosh, you know, like she sat there and had to hear that story. And mind you, I'm taken, and I was trying to protect her in a sense. Well, the way that situation went down was some women ended up calling her, I guess, and they got a hold of her, and she found out even more things. And that allegedly is how she ended up even making the post. Shout out to her. Vashti is a very kind individual, by the way, and she's such a sweet person. And I just feel really bad for like everything that like happened to her. And I was like, I don't know. It was just it was horrible. Like the months that I took her in, like we had an amazing time. She really ended up becoming like a real sister to me. But it was really sad just me seeing things that I saw. And like it wasn't the greatest moment. Like it was just kind of sad. That's how much of a true sister she was. Everything that I did was purely and solely genuine. And I was like, dude, like this is insane. Like what? And then when she revealed to me that they were together for 10 years, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I knew they were together for 10 years before she even posted the post and came out about it. It was so hard for me. I was confused because it was just so many things that I had to get clarified in my mind, because I said, no way this man did this, and no way the things that she told me that he did. My mouth was like, not my leader, you know what I mean? Like, I not this. And it was way more things. Like I know so many things that it's like mind blowing that I can't share. And out of respect for both of them, like I'm just not doing it. I'm not sharing anything. But I'm gonna put allegedly in like how I feel, because I have to watch my words, because this is somebody very, very powerful. And mind you, like I'm still frightful of even sharing my story and sharing this. Like it's scary. Everything that I went through is scary because he's really, really powerful, right? And he has people that coddle his dysfunction, people that know what he's doing. I remember like my last day of pretty much me making up my mind, like I'm not going back to that church. That was this one lady, we're gonna call her Susan. Her name is Susan, right? She knows every single thing that's going on. Mind you, she's still there till this day. She knows everything that's going on about this man. And it's just sickening to me. A lot of them know what's going on with this man behind the closed doors, but they're coddling his dysfunction, which is a little sickening to me. And I'm not going to put them out because they're probably under some type of manipulation, allegedly as well, from this man. He holds a lot of power, right? Whatever. In my mind, I'm like, when this lady called me and she was like, she always talked about him, number one, like always allegedly communicating about him, like possessive over him in a way. But it was something that she did that completely drove me away. It was like just something really possessive. And she also tried to spread around the story about him and I and what happened with us in the situation. And it kind of like drove me out, because then I came in and I started to see like the stares and the people looking at me weird, and it got kind of really creepy. Like it can get really creepy around there. They're really creepy and really possessive. There's some women that are just really creepy there. They're possessive, and it's okay. Maybe it's something that happened. I'm not sure, but I still care about them too, you know? Like it's unfortunate, but there's some women almost waiting their shot allegedly to be a first lady. And I'm like, I don't know. But I was like, you know, I prayed about.
Part of me wonder if this is what she wanted too. Like, is that like a thing? Like, y'all want to be a first lady that bad?
They see all the power he's getting and they just want a part of that.
Power within a church, within a building. That man is wicked. He has no power outside that building. He created the culture. It's like saying like a GM of a store. He has so much power. No, he doesn't. He has a boss he has to answer to.
You gotta think, people love to be like, not mesmerized, but like just looked up to.
Yeah.
So if you're right beside them, they're looking at you like, wow, you're just so perfect and your life is just so great. But so many things happen behind closed doors.
Yeah, everybody's chasing the aesthetic, you're saying, pretty much. It's like, it's aesthetically pleasing to be a pastor's side chick at this point, because you're not wife. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can bring a girlfriend up there as the first lady, but, you know, I don't really know the culture of these churches, really. I just stay close to my Bible. And I pray to my God, and hopefully I find some people like us that, don't mind talking about it. That's a church right there. Talking with us, reading with us, that's a church right there. Before I go into these buildings and be in a cult, I would rather do it in my house with a couple of my friends, and that's it. And I advise anybody in this type of situation, just start at home. You're not going to it's not, I don't, I can't say whether or not I believe the church is within your home. You are the church. The church is you. You're the temple. You're the temple, and it starts with you. So it's like, you don't have to be in these buildings where they all structured and, tied me this, give me that, and everybody just moving like a cult. Once you get a whiff of that, it's time to go. That ain't how Jesus led. That ain't what Jesus did, if you believe in that. I just try to look at it. What was Jesus doing in the Bible, they said? Was he doing this? Was he doing this with Mary and them when he was saving these women? Was he taking advantage of them as well? I don't think so. I think he was washing their feet and treating them like regular people and having them treat him as a regular person. So why would I go to a church where everybody's holding this man on the throne? I can't stand a church where there's 3 seats on this thing. Y'all gonna hate me for this one, but I hate when there's 3 seats. I hate when there's somebody in the middle just sweating uncontrollably for no reason. Everything he says, he just got to wipe his forehead. Let me get up out of here. Because I ain't seeing the power in nothing that most people be saying. And maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I'm not trying to say that going to church is a bad thing, but don't always feel like because you're going to church, that's your ticket to heaven. You could be going to the devil's church. If you know the Bible, you know that the devil knows the Bible just like anyone else, just the best pastor in the world could be the devil. Let's be for real. You see a lot of these men in the beginning. I'm going to say this because I feel like this is important. What a lot of people do not realize is that you can fall from grace just like the devil did. And that same thing applies to the pastors. You can once be in God's favor and have his blessings and then lose his favor throughout the process. I'm pretty sure we all know some famous pastors today that has lost their way. God is no longer with them. That don't mean God wasn't with them in the beginning. It's just God is not with them anymore. And that's why we need to what? Read our Bible so we can know when these men and women have lost their way. You know what I'm saying? So, because I don't believe incompetence is going to be something you can use when it's time for God to read you your judgment book. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't know God," when your Bible is free everywhere. I ain't never paid for a Bible, and if you have, you've been scammed because it's free. It's free apps, all type of stuff. So don't let incompetence be your reason of, "Oh, I don't know," and you think that's going to be a good excuse. No, because y'all forget God knows your heart, and He knows that all these tools that we have around here is available for you. So read your Bible, y'all, so we don't end up in situations like this, because this is honestly a sad situation. She really is looking at the aesthetic thing of it as if this is going to get her to heaven or something, like, or this going to make her life better. Like, this is still a whole regular man. This is a flawed man. He's not perfect. So, but that's all I got to say on that.
And I don't want to I don't want to speak out with any type of ill will intention in my heart and have any malice in my heart, but at the same time I'm like, girl, that was your truth, that was your story. If he didn't want to be a part of your story, he shouldn't have been in your story. So it's like, I feel like I have every right to speak on my truth, and maybe my truth can help some women or people that could be in that church still potentially going through what I might have went through, where I had to keep everything a secret. And while I'm seeing him raise his hand in victory, I'm struggling and I'm going through things inside because I have to keep things secretive between me and him, even when we started talking. Mind you, I told y'all I was keeping my options open because I said, something ain't right here. I felt like, there were certain things that I approached him about, and he even got one girl to call me on a 3-way to prove that he wasn't communicating with her. I found out years later that he allegedly was talking and still communicating with this lady through my friend that I had took in. So it was so many things when I took her in that got officially confirmed that I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Is this really my pastor? At the time, now my ex-pastor. But this is someone that I looked up to and I highly admired, and I was almost kind of scared of in a way. I felt I don't know. It was just so many things that I was just scared to communicate or talk about. But the fact that I'm still going through the process of waiting on this DNA test to come back, I just really don't genuinely know. But I can say that I'm a really nice person. I wouldn't harm a fly. And I just hate that I had to go through something like that. I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I would give the shirt off of my back. So I don't understand why I would be the one to go through something like that. Why me? Why can't it be anybody else? I take full accountability, and I know that I played a part because two is like, it's two people that are involved, so I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, like, don't be frightened to speak up and tell your story. Like, be honest, it's okay. And then I see my friend get attacked like that, and I really care about her as a sister. I'm so serious. My friend Vashti, I really care about her a lot. And I just seen her get attacked. I seen the scrutiny. Like, I seen the people from KCC like swarm on her like the bees, like almost like the beehive for Beyonce. Shout out to Beyonce. But it was like, no, like I'm gonna speak my truth. Like I told my dad. My dad was like furious, like not like that, but he was ready to like speak to him allegedly. But I was like, Dad, like don't worry about it. So my dad ended up just telling like his brothers and sisters, and like I'm just so glad that God like protected me, because like God's rejection is his protection. So I'm glad that it didn't end the way that I wanted to. And sometimes I even still feel a pull to even attend that church and go there. But it's like, girl, out of everything you went through, you must be bad, crazy, like just crazy, you know? But I had to speak my truth. And for anyone that might be going through, you're loved, sister. You're loved. I'm not even going to speak on anyone else's story or anything else that I know, because I know a lot. I found out so much information that it was mind-blowing to my brain, to my mind. But I say this to say that maybe God helped him to get help. And I'm not like trying to count his sin against him or anything of that nature, because I believe that God could change him. I really do. But I also deserve to speak my truth. I have to be okay knowing that some people are going to speak up and speak negative and ill will about me or the situation, because they always want to blame the girl, but they never want to look at the actual person that holds the power, which is kind of creepy also in itself. But like, I deserve to speak my truth, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay for me to speak my truth. And I am almost, you okay? Mommy's here. It's like I'm almost, I don't want to see anyone else have to go through what I went through. And for the women that allegedly still might be there doing what they're doing, which I'm not even going to speak on, because I'm not even going to go there, because that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother big route. Like, I feel bad for them. But then again, the people that are there that know, they decided to still stay in the dysfunction. Do I believe that he probably needs some type of help, like therapy or something? Probably so. But like, I do believe that he's heavily called by God to do the things that he's doing. Like, I do believe that he's super called by God, but I just pray that he gets the help that he needs, so that way he's not hurting another. So I feel like, I came to that church with like a pure heart, really genuinely wanting to change. Mind you, I was like, oh, this man, he's handsome. You know what I mean? Like, he's a handsome man. Like, not only am I getting a word, but I'm getting a word by someone that looks very attractive. Like, he had it going on. He could sing. He had so many things going on. So it was like, when you get approached by someone like that, it's like, ah. But it's like, everything that glitters is not gold. And I feel like I fell into the trap of maybe all of that, but it's like, it's not worth it. And I'm still grateful and appreciative for like everything, I'm not knocking that church, but I'm saying that's the reason why I left. And I hope this helps someone. And I hope that this causes you to, it's okay, honey. It's okay. I'm making a video. And I hope that this like just helps somebody. I hope it does. And it's okay. Like, he's human, so I'm not expecting no one to be perfect. And it also caused me to look at pastors now and just know that, like, they're not perfect beings, Like, they're not perfect. They're not going to be perfect. So I have to know that inside as well. But, yeah, I hope that he's changed. I hope that he's changing. Even though allegedly I heard things that it's still not great that's going on. But it's none of my business. But, I thank Jesus so much for directing my path. Jesus is the heart and the light of my life. Mind you, I'm not perfect. I have not done perfect things. I told you, mind you, like I said, like I know that I'm not perfect, and I know I have not made the greatest decisions in life. And like I take full accountability. I'm not ashamed of anything that I went through. But what I can say is that I'm not a pastor, and I'm not leading a flock, and I'm not like up there leading a flock. So it's like it's a little different, you know. But I pray that God gives him grace for everything, and I come with a pure heart to genuinely state the reasoning of why I left, because I know a lot of people from that church is probably wondering, why did she go missing? Why did she go missing? If they even care. You know what I'm saying?
I think she thinks his power is coming from God, as if she speaks out against him, she's going to lose God's favor. And I'm just here to say that is not true. Again, I'm gonna tell you again, because maybe some of y'all might skip past the part when I said you can have a calling in the beginning. You can literally have the calling in the favor of God in the beginning of this trial when it comes to pastors. But don't think that these men do not lose their way in the process. This man has clearly lost his way. Anything he says, don't get me wrong, he could still have the wisdom of a man of God, but not have the heart. And that's what God judges the most. He's fell from favor, if you ask me. And it's because of his position. You got to understand, we are all not perfect. But to be sitting here trying to lead a congregation and teaching people and, you know, misleading them in a sense. If you ask me, I feel like he's using that church as a way to court broken women.
Yeah, he's definitely abusing his power.
So it's like he using this situation not to heal women, but to see a woman that's broken like that and say, I want her. You know, it's a way of courting women to him. And that's how I know God has nothing to do with this. Don't let anything around this fool you. It may take years for this to show, you know, but God has definitely left this man alive. You cannot tell me you have God in your heart, and the first thing you do is manipulate and take advantage of somebody who's broken, who's weak. Everybody who goes to church is broken and weak. I'm not just saying her in particular. I'm broken and weak when I go. Listen, we all broken people. We all got things that we've been through that we still facing currently, whether you want to admit it or not. And we go to church asking, you know, trying to be around similar people who are seeking these things as well, because it makes the prayer more powerful. I feel like God's in the room when there's more people. The more people, God's gonna always be in there listening to you, regardless, if you speaking to him from your heart, you know. But when you get into a room full of people, it's just more powerful. You know, that's what we go there for. We go there for the congregation. We go there for the community, not for the pastor. Don't get me wrong. The pastor is doing a great job. That's even better. But like I said, the devil can be up there preaching the words that you need to hear too, you know? So you gotta watch out from that, messy family. That's all I'm saying on that.
I still can't believe that he's like dodging this DNA test. It's like, I don't know if he thinks it's going to ruin his image because he lied to everyone and saying I had nothing to do with this, or
Having a baby outside of a marriage. You know how they take that in church. I mean, you didn't had a, you know, what they call it, having a baby out of wedlock or something like that. You know, he's all about aesthetics. That's how I know this isn't a path. You know, if you were so worried about the aesthetics, you shouldn't be out here sleeping with women. Go marry them. Have babies with them then. You know, if you want to do things according to the law. But just because you do things according to the law of the Bible doesn't mean that you're not going to be judged. God has never told us to be perfect. Never. He understands that we're not perfect. He understands what each of us all been through. So he knows that where we're going to struggle the most at. So thinking that because you don't curse and because you're married and you had a baby doesn't mean that you're going to gain God's favor. Are you leading in a good direction? Yes. But no one's perfect. You could be doing all of the right things and just judging somebody else for not doing it, and then you're sinning just like us. Welcome to hell. You know, so don't ever think that you're safe because of you're fulfilling all the laws. You know, it kind of scares me when people try to do that. I don't like being around perfect people who act perfect. You know, I want to see some type of, you know, realness in you. So him being this way, honestly, is crazy though. And I wouldn't honestly want to be led by this man. Honestly, as a grown man, no, I don't want to be around no man who can't hold his own household down, ain't got no family structure. You grown, you at church, you preaching, but you ain't got no wife. You ain't got no woman, no woman to be a wife. Nothing. I ain't trying to listen to you, dude. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not saying single men can't be pastors. It's just it's a lot of scrutiny on those ones. I kind of like get your life together. You know, build a congregation of your own, then try to come help us. Don't tell me about what God wants us to do if you're not living that. You know, I'm gonna listen because that's the word at the end of the day. But you know, y'all need to stop putting so much faith in these pastors. They are just people. You know, go for the message, get your message, and get on out of there if that's the case. And find another church. It's one on every corner, depending on where you at. Don't get tied to these churches as if God's here and only here. Come on, God everywhere at once. God knows how many strains of hair is on your head. He's where you at currently. This, God's with you right now. So, but yeah, messy family. I hope I didn't offend nobody with my takes on this. I'm not trying to come against. I don't want to seem judgmental. I'm just trying to be real. I'm trying to tell you how I feel. I don't know how to fake it. I'm not PR trained. We're not PR trained. Like, we're just speaking from our own experiences, from our heart at the end of the day. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section below. If you've ever been in a situation like this, we would love to hear your story. So you can share that in the comment below, or you can email us. You can find email in the description on our account. Okay, but if you want to follow this creator for more updates, or maybe she comes out and says more about this pastor, you can follow her. We will have her linked in the description box below, so that way you guys can get directly to her. But if that's all you got anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
I think it's pretty bold of her to speak out now after seeing the scrutiny and everything her friend went through and how everyone bashed her. But I think, her voice and how she feels is going to lead other women that have been through this with the same pastor to speak out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. She definitely, like I said, most people, you can't, if you are part of the story that you're trying to tell, they can't hold that against you. Like how she said in the beginning, like, this is my story. It ain't my fault that you chose to be a part of my story. This is what you've done to me. So how can you sit here and tell me I can't speak on what happened to me? But
what's done in the dark will come to the light.
Exactly. And it takes courage, like it takes certain amount of courage, like the courage she displayed in this video, to do that. Don't be afraid to speak out against your abusers or people who wronged you, because at the end of the day, this is your story. But that's all we have, Messy Family. Y'all have a blessed day today, and we will see you all in the next story time. Peace.